Okay, in the last video we talked a little bit about duty and respect, and saying that duty was the necessity of action out of respect for persons or respect for the moral law. The moral law is the categorical imperative, and we said respect was the deepest moral sentiment, deeper even than compassion and love. And a misunderstanding of this gives deontology a bad name, or Kantian deontology a bad name, because Kant makes, and I'll explain why, Kant makes a distinction between two kinds of actions, and it has to do with the way we understand respect as being at the heart of this. The distinction Kant makes between two kinds of action is an action done in mere conformity with duty versus an action done for the sake of duty. An action done in mere conformity with duty versus an action done for the sake of duty. So he says only actions done for the sake of duty, or we could say for the sake of dignity, are morally praiseworthy actions. Actions done in mere conformity with duty or with dignity are not morally praiseworthy actions. So, for example, if I do something kind to someone because I think other people are watching, if I give money to a homeless person so other people will think me well, that's not an action done out of respect for the homeless person. It's done out of wanting other people to praise me. So for Kant, the intention matters. What's in my heart matters most. And what's in my heart has to be respect for the dignity of another person, or respect for the worth and value of a person. Okay? If an action isn't done out of respect, it's in mere conformity with duty. It's not done for the sake of a person. Okay? So no matter what I do, for Kant, the actions don't matter so much as the intention. An action done that's in mere conformity with an action done for respect doesn't count for Kant. It's not a morally praiseworthy action. So even if you give, like I said in the last video, let's say I'm kind to people out of compassion, but I don't have respect for them, that's not a morally praiseworthy action for Kant. That's an action done in mere conformity with duty, or we could say even in mere conformity with respect, but not done for the sake of duty or for the sake of respect. Okay, and what Kant is saying here is that the intention matters, and if I don't intend respect, and if I don't value another person's intrinsic value, my moral action, no matter how good the action is externally, internally it's of no value. Okay? And so this bothers a lot of people, because Kant will say things like, well, you can do things for love and when you're in love and out of compassion and love, but it's not really love or really compassion if there's no respect there. So the key distinction here, mere conformity for the sake of, just simply means that respect for persons has to be present, or an action is not morally praiseworthy. Okay, it's sort of a distinction between appearance and reality. The reality needs to be there. And Kant is very suspicious. He's a German philosopher who's very suspicious of emotions, okay? And he thinks emotions, just like Aristotle in a sense. Remember, for Aristotle, he thought emotions need to be checked by reason. For Kant, they need to be checked by respect. They need to be checked by dignity. If I'm acting emotionally and it's not out of respect for a person, I can't trust it. The only way I can trust a morally praiseworthy action is if it's done out of in line with the categorical imperative, because I respect another person and I treat them as an end in themselves. Okay, so emotions, and if the emotion of respect isn't there, respect for persons, it doesn't count. And Kant is suspicious of emotions for several reasons, but I'll just name two. One is that emotions for Kant are subject to change. Emotions are fickle. One day I'm in love, one day I'm not. Sometimes I can't conjure love for people. I can't conjure compassion sometimes. But what I can do is I can always see another person as a dignified individual and feel respect for them. I can always feel respect. Okay? But Kant thinks that's why this is a metaphysical emotion, respect. But the other emotions I can't. So Kant thinks when Jesus says, for example, love your neighbor as yourself, he's really saying you need to respect the dignity of a person. That's what he thinks Jesus is saying. Okay? Another reason, if I act emotionally for Kant, now this is the second reason. He's suspicious of emotions for two reasons. One is they're subject to change. They're continually changing. They're fickle. They're ephemeral. But two, if I act emotionally, or if I act pathologically, I'm acting deterministically. That is, I'm not acting like a free being. I'm letting something outside determine my actions. And this for Kant isn't a morally praiseworthy action, because I'm not acting as a free rational agent. The only way I can act as a free rational agent is if I act rationally out of respect for the dignity of other persons. If I'm acting out of even compassion and love, it doesn't count for Kant. The only morally praiseworthy action, remember, an action done for respect or out of respect, but emotional and pathological actions for Kant are not free actions. I'm no better than an animal, for Kant, if I act emotionally. Now, there's nothing wrong with emotions, but emotions need to be chastened by the moral law, by dignity, and by respect for persons. Okay?